Step into True Crime Shadows, where history's darkest riddles unravel with whispers that chill your bones. Tonight, we roam the starlit hills of Tuscany, where from 1968 to 1985, a phantom killer stalked lovers in the quiet of night, striking with a Beretta's lethal precision before the shadows of the vineyards swallowed him whole. Florence, cradle of the Renaissance, where Tuscan vineyards shimmer under moonlight and dusty roads call lovers to solitude. From 1968 to 1985, these lush hills became a killing ground. The monster of Florence, a phantom killer, stalked couples in the dark. 16 victims, 8 murders, a mystery that gripped Italy with fear. Romantic nights turned to nightmares, and Siena, Borgo, Calenzano, and Scandicci pulsed with dread. The Tuscan mist still guards the monster's secret. The monster hunted with cold precision. A Beretta .22 pistol fired lethal shots, and a sharp blade was his tool. Couples in parked cars on Tuscany's lonely roads were his prey. He emerged from the shadows and vanished into the mist. A 29-year-old factory worker and Barbara Locci, a 32-year-old seamstress, were a newly engaged couple from Florence. That morning, in a small cafe, Barbara smiled as she showed her silver ring to a friend, saying, "This is the start of a new life." Antonio, with calloused hands, spoke of their dream of a home in the suburbs. At dusk, they drove their blue Fiat to Senior's Hills, where stars bore witness to their love. An old tune played on the radio, and they were lost in hope, believing their future was bright. The killer lurked in the vineyard shadows, watching the couple. Hatred consumed him. Their love was a sin to erase. He raised his Beretta, his breath one with the night's silence. The first shot pierced the rear window, targeting Antonio. Barbara lunged for the door, but a second shot stopped her. The killer emerged from the mist and ended their night. He plucked Barbara's silver ring and tossed it by the car, a taunt to their love. Winchester casings littered the ground, and the monster slipped into the shadows. June 6, 1981, Carmine Fiorzi, a 26-year-old nurse, and Giovanni Foggi, a 30-year-old mechanic, were a simple couple from Scandicci. At noon, in their modest apartment, Carmine, weary from a hospital shift, shared pasta with Giovanni. He said eagerly, "We'll buy a new car, tour Italy." Carmine, tired but joyful, laughed. At dusk, they drove their white Renault to a quiet lane by the vineyards. Under a starry sky, they found peace, unaware of a shadow in the dark. The killer watched from behind olive trees. Their laughter was poison in his mind, a closeness he never knew. They must end. His finger twitched on the Beretta's trigger. The first shot shattered the windshield, targeting Giovanni. Carmine opened the door, but a second shot halted her. The killer approached and ended their night. He dropped a tattered handkerchief in the bushes as if to mock the police. Casings lay in the earth, and the monster fled into the mist. September 9th, 1985, Nadine Moreau, a 32-year-old photographer, and Jean-Michel Kravaishvili, a 36-year-old teacher, were a French couple vacationing in Tuscany. Nadine snapped photos of vineyards, telling Jean-Michel, "This place is magical." He teased about Paris, but wanted their last night to be special. At dusk, they drove a rented grey Volkswagen to a secluded Scandicci lane. Nadine readied her camera, and Jean-Michel held her hand, lost in adventure, blind to death nearby. The killer hid in the fog, the couple's laughter a sting to his solitude. Tonight, it ends. He raised the Beretta the wind masking the first shot. The bullet pierced the rear door, targeting Jean-Michel. Nadine scrambled for the door, but a second shot stopped her. The killer approached and ended their night. He took Nadine's camera, left the film by the car, a mocking signature. Winchester casings dotted the ground, and in the dirt, he carved, "The stars bear witness." The monster melted into the fog. In the early 1980s, Florence's detectives were mired in fading clues. In 1984, an anonymous tip from Calenzano named Pietro Pacciani, a reclusive farmer. A witness claimed to have seen a man like him near the 1981 crime scene. Police raided his shack, finding rusted knives, ropes with odd stains, and a box of worn fabrics. An unsigned letter reached the station. The killer is in the hills. Pacciani's past, a 1951 conviction for sexual assault, stoked suspicion. In interrogations, his cold stare and cryptic smirks unnerved detectives, but evidence, like Tuscan fog, slipped away. Pietro Pacciani, born January 7, 1927, in a poor Tuscan village, seemed forged in darkness. He lived in a squalid shack in Calenzano, a hunched man with hollow eyes and hands steeped in earth and loneliness. Neighbors called him the madman of the hills and shunned his gaze. His childhood was marked by poverty and violence. His father's belt left scars, while his broken mother sank into silence. In 1951, he was jailed for sexual assault, a crime that made him a pariah. After release, he sought the hills' isolation. His marriage was turbulent. Whispers told of nightly rages and hidden bruises. Psychologists pointed to a pathological envy of others' love, rooted in childhood shame and lifelong rejection. At night, he muttered under candlelight, words that might have been curses or confessions. Did he punish couples for their joy? Or was he a shadow masking the true killer? His truth lies buried in the hills. Pietro Pacciani was acquitted in 1998. Forensic analysis found his shack's knives mismatched the victim's wounds. The blades were too broad and rusted. No Winchester casings were among his possessions. DNA tests on the ropes and fabrics were inconclusive. Stains were from soil or other materials, likely from farm work. The 1981 witness admitted dim roadside light blurred the man's face, making identification uncertain. Lost files, due to the police archive's chaos in the 1980s, fueled doubts, but no conspiracy was proven. Rumors of another killer or a band of predators in Tuscany swirled, but no proof surfaced. Pacciani, despite his darkness, evaded justice. Tuscany's hills still murmur the monster's tale. Pietro Pacciani died in 1998, but his mystery lingers. In 2001, a tattered notebook was found in his forsaken shack. A trembling hand had scrawled, "I still roam the nights." Was he the monster or a scapegoat, while the true killer smirked in the gloom? Florence bears its scars. Yet new efforts to review evidence, including advanced DNA testing, have kindled a faint hope for justice. The quiet roads pulse with fear, and the fog, like an eternal veil, guards the truth.